I'll officially call to order the study session of Coachella Valley Water District Board of Directors, February 17, 2026, here in Palm Desert. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Yes, good afternoon, President Powell.
Here.
Vice President Estrada will be absent for the meeting. Director Bianco,
Here.
Director Aguilar,
Here.
and Director Nelson.
Here.
Thank you. We do have a quorum.
Thank you. Do we have anybody from the public wishing to comment at this time? Seeing none, at this time the board will recess into closed session to consider the item listed on the agenda. And following that, we will come into open session to report out and to continue our study item.
Mr. President, just for the record, we do have it on the agenda, on the monitors, but just for clarification on the agenda, we did inadvertently leave out the case number. So we just do want to note that the correct information is projected on the screen, which includes the Supreme Court case number for this item.
Yeah, that's the Supreme Court case that is still pending. They haven't accepted or declined yet, but it is at the Supreme Court.
Okay. That's just our reason. So the regular meeting is hereby reconvened. We do not have any reportable action from closed session. And now that we are in open session, we move to item 6A with a presentation by Carrie Oliphant.
All right. Good afternoon. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
So this presentation is set up similar to the ones we've had before, but there are options to quickly move through it if you wish. So I will point those out as we go along.
The only one, we're just going to be looking at all the ones in bold.
Yeah.
The new projects, which
exactly.
is almost none.
Right. So, okay, we're going to start with reviewing our completed projects, then do a quick comparison, look at the overall summary for each fund, and then finance is going to talk about any rate impacts.
Is it?
And then we do have a motor pool presentation at the end.
You want me to sit over there?
But I'll wait till everybody's paying attention. Okay. All right. Next slide, please. Or do I? I can move it. I can move it with this one? Okay. All right. This was our summary. Okay. These are, we have 25 total projects that we have either completed or project to be completed this fiscal year. If anybody has any questions on any of these, I'm happy to go over them.
I just thank you for doing this. I was the one who requested that we add the source. But on some of the loans, where the loan is identified as the resource, it doesn't say what the loan is. I'm assuming those are interfund loans?
Well, they do say they're either USDA loans or if they're related to the recycled water or any of the sanitation projects, then they're the clean water SRF loans.
Okay. Because towards the bottom of the first page, there are several items listed. The Marriott Shadow Ridge, loan 70%.
Right.
Emerald, all of those.
So those are the clean water state revolving fund loans from the state.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So this is our comparison slide where we look at what we're proposing for this current fiscal year, FY27. It is a large number. It's $206 million. Last year, we presented to you a budget of $190 million. We have amended that budget throughout the year. It's now currently at 111. And so a lot of the funds are being carried over to next year. That's one of the reasons why it's a little bit higher. We had some delays with getting some of our grant funding. We had some developer projects that didn't start up as soon as we thought they were going to, and just some other just project delays with getting designs complete and projects out for construction. So
Carrie, so, just so I can understand a little bit more, so you amended the budget by 80 million,
yes.
okay? And last year's budget was 178.
Well,
Okay.
last year's budget was 190, and when we presented last year's,
Excuse me,
Yeah.
previous, I'm talking about for 27, was
Yeah, when-
178.
right?
So
when,
you're roughly 25, just say $30 million more, and I get it because you saved 80 million, didn't save, but we just didn't complete $80
Right.
million.
We're-
So where is where's the 50 go?
right.
Does that go to 2028? The 50? Are you following me?
Yeah, I do. It gets a little
I mean, this-
complicated to explain exactly how it all falls out. But basically, it does get spread out further, or the project was completed, or
you see what I mean? There's $50
Yeah.
million missing.
yeah.
You know what I mean by missing? It's just
when you did the previously proposed budget, when you did the 27 previously proposed budget, were you aware of some of these projects already sliding into 27?
No, I mean, I guess
No?
you could say, yeah, there's new treatment type projects, you know, for Chrome 6. There's the potential for PFAS.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not a very straightforward answer to say where all that 50 million came from without going through each fund and getting really detailed into the projects. I mean, you can kind of see by looking at the funds individually that domestic had a huge increase, you know, and some of that's carryover and some of that's new projects,
Right.
if that makes
But
sense.
yeah, I mean, it's intriguing to think that what I would think of it as kind of like a train pushing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, where the engine's in the back. And so this $80 million of projects that didn't get completed in 26 got pushed into 27,
And
but-
28,
or maybe push some of the 27 stuff into 28.
right,
Just it kept pushing everything forward. Because I mean, how much can you do in 1 year?
Right.
You know.
right.
So even if you took the whole 80 in 27, you would have had stuff from 27 that got pushed.
and we have to
into
recognize
28.
that because we're making rates and assumptions on these big numbers,
Right.
right?
So let me just
Right.
clarify that I know these are large numbers. Finance is going to go over any rate impacts, but just to give you the bottom line up front, there are no proposed rate impacts on sanitation or domestic for July 1.
Do you like the sound of that?
Wonderful. I can go. What about the other?
This year.
There's
What about domestic?
We'll take 1 year. at a time.
domestic, there's no proposed rate increase for July 1. Sanitation, no proposed rate increase. I believe there's going to be a discussion on potentially a rate increase in Canal based on the cost of service study, but I guess there's some options there. But finance is going to go over that when I get done with my part. So
Well,
the sooner,
you're leaving on a bang, huh?
yeah, that's what I said. Right? That's what I said. All right, so I'm going to move on.
Last hurrah.
This is the funding source for the 206 million. So the pay as you go is 32% of the whole budget. Grants, loan, and bond funding's 45%, and then developer funded or restricted reserves are that's 23%. So it's, I think, fairly well balanced between all of those different funding sources. These, a few years ago, we started talking about issuing a $100 million bond. And these have always been the projects that we were going to issue that bond for. We have not issued that debt yet. And so I think finance is going to talk more about whether we're going to issue debt for the stormwater projects and the sanitation projects. just based on reserves. So most likely it's not going to be the 119 million, 120 million that's going to be issued. But these are the projects that have been targeted in the past. I think we're still looking at issuing that bond financing for the domestic water projects, though. Any questions on that?
So we're gonna have a say in this, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you'll have a say as finance does the operating budget presentations and future presentations.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause
When they-
these are going out.
Yeah.
Quite a few years. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the first fund, general district. As you know, this fund is, there's all of the funds contribute to this fund. So this is just a breakdown of what each of the fund is paying for when it comes to the general district projects. Domestic water is always the one that contributes the most. And then these, so for general district, we're proposing 7.6 million in projects. These are all PAYGO funded projects, and the 4 projects that are in bold are the new projects. I can go over those, or I can skip to domestic, whatever you prefer. I can go over all the projects.
All right, well, why don't we start with the big one, the fuel station refurbishment?
Okay. We'll go there. So this is to install new underground fuel tanks, plumbing, and just do some upgrades to the fuel station in at the Coachella campus.
Because
It is out of date. It's aging. Dan or Oscar may have additional information on like how old it is or when the last time there were upgrades.
So if this says it's a new project, why does it say the phase is construction?
It's already been designed.
I don't think it has to go through design, right? Because you're doing it.
So Western Pump has managed our facilities for the last 35 years. This facility is 1988. All those underground tanks are now almost 40 years old. And we definitely need to do both fuel stations in the next 5 years. So we're going to start with the Coachella campus, which is the older of the one, and pray that none of the underground tanks are leaking. So that is why we're doing it. We just can't defer it any longer.
So you think it's a possibility, once you do the excavation, you'll find evidence of leaking?
I hope not. No, I don't think so, honestly. Because Western's been engaged for so long, I really feel that they think that their recommendation is to do it now, get it done, see what we have underground, and then we'll determine the Palm Desert Station accordingly.
Is that what they're going to do? Are they going to excavate what's there?
Yeah,
And
they
then
would be excavating the tanks out,
start from scratch?
starting from scratch. The obviously the tank, even the dispensers are 35, 40 years old, so they've been maintained for a long time. So everything is severely antiquated, and we use a massive amount of fuel. Obviously, all the heavy equipment is in the Coachella yard. So.
Yeah. 1988.
Yeah, I think if risk management was here, they would also say that this has a bearing, the replacement of these will have a bearing on the insurance policy premiums that we have to pay for underground storage tanks. I think those premiums would continue to climb if we did not do a replacement of
So
the
if we do
tanks.
find a leak, it'll be covered by insurance?
I think some of it is insured, I believe, but we don't have risk management here.
Yeah, we have about 40,000 gallons between diesel and unleaded in this yard, and I'm very confident that we're not going to have a leak. But that's the primary purpose of the preliminary investigation, is to make sure we're okay with that.
I would just say that, you know, a lot of these new projects that you guys want to start would have to be predicated on this chromium 6 outcome that comes our way to see which way it goes.
Okay, so this is another new project. This is we replaced the generator. Now this is to upgrade the automatic transfer switch. So this is a little bit of a carryover, but it is new from the generator we replaced last year. And then this is the Motorola core radio system upgrade. I guess Motorola is no longer able to support our current radio system, so that one seems necessary. And then this is our ongoing project, the ERP, which you all know about. So I'll move to domestic, if that's okay.
So that whole Motorola thing, I mean, the communication's gone a long way since that thing was state of the art, right? Are we going just with a better version of that, or is there something completely different that's, I mean, you know, cell phones and stuff. They didn't really have cell phones back when they were doing.
I don't
these
have a lot of
things.
details on this project.
I
'cause
could offer
think this
that
is-
having gone through disaster recovery in a number of places in a former job, that while cell phones do provide adequate coverage during the normal course of business, those systems get overloaded very quickly during a disaster, and it's imperative for our crews in the field to be able to coordinate back through control. This provides a dedicated communications system for the district. Should cell phone towers be damaged, destroyed, or just overloaded because everybody's trying to communicate at the same time.
And these the Motorola core radio system, does it go through our SCADA towers and so forth, or is it all related to Motorola?
Yeah, what did we have,
Towers
like
up.
5 towers or something that we had?
We have 5 rings.
5 rings.
Yeah, for our SCADA. That's our antenna and our polling.
Lord of the Rings.
But I know that the normal person in this room doesn't use radios every day, but these are paramount to our operation, believe it or not. There are areas that cell coverage doesn't work when you're way down in the canal. Canal odors, the Zan Harrows. There's a lot of people that use these constantly every day. The last upgrade we did was in 2018. And it is time to move this forward, and it is paramount to Jim's point as we move forward. It's not something that you can replace with cell phones. It's not even an order of magnitude as safe, especially in an emergency.
So as long as you have power and the tower's standing, you have communication.
At all times. We do have
Yeah.
our own frequencies.
Yeah, I mean,
And I mean, we go 40 miles this way and 120 miles this way, and it is paramount that we can communicate effectively, especially in emergency. So, again, probably of my 330 employees, probably 100 of them use these every day constantly.
really. Seems so old-fashioned.
It
It's
but
state of the art, actually,
It's,
Motorola.
it's more of a.
It is state of the art.
The new system is state of the art. Like
Alright.
our antiquated system is 2018, so 7-8 years is severely antiquated for this type of system.
Yeah, I get it. All right.
So.
Seems expensive. Next.
Okay, are we ready to move on to domestic? Is that okay? All right, so 72 million. Again, there's a share of general district in there, share of motor pool, so that amounts to about 3 million. We have about 24 million in PAYGO, and then about there's I did 42% makes up the grant loan and bonds, and then 21% makes up the developer funded fees, developer funded or fees. So that's that. And then the highlighted projects are all of our PAYGO projects, so that those are the ones that impact the rates. But there's really only 2 new projects, which is a domestic water treatment design. That's for potentially additional Chrome 6 treatment design and or PFAS, depending on how that study comes out. We have the Sun City domestic water treatment plant design in there. That was the design contract that was awarded at the last board meeting. We separated that out from this generic one.
So when you say new, Are you saying new to us from last year?
New to the 5-year CIP. They haven't.
New to the 5-year CIP?
Yeah,
Okay.
it has not been in the 5-year CIP.
This has not been the 5-year CIP, okay.
Yeah. So I can run through these if you'd like, or quickly. Or...
When you say not in the 5-year CIP, it also means that we haven't started the
Correct.
project yet.
Yeah.
Because we could have done a budget modification during the year, I guess.
Right.
Okay, so,
Add something in. We might have done a couple of those.
so under the reservoir construction program,
Right.
we have 3 reservoirs in that program for in the next 5 years. Is that correct? Am I reading this right?
Those are we have more. Well, let's see.
I'm sorry, this is for just the
Just for this,
26 budget.
it's I'm sorry. There's a typo. It's the 27 budget.
Yeah. Okay, just for the 27
Just for
budget,
the 27 budget, there's
we have
those
3
3.
reservoir design and constructions.
Right. And all 3 of those are do not impact the rates because they're being funded either by developer or a combination of our fees and developer. And the top one there, 4711-3 and 4, that also has a grant component.
Okay.
So when you look at the reservoir rehabs, the 2 there, we've started on the first one, 6631-1 and 2. 5617 has been in the 5-year CIP, but this is the first year that we're asking for money for it. But so
Okay, got it.
And then Sun City,
yes,
how far are we along on phase 2B and 3?
So-
Say 2B.
2B is the one that we just awarded.
Okay, so that's the one we just awarded.
Yeah, and so phase 3 would that is to get started on the design of phase 3 for next year
I just signed the construction contract today
for phase 2B.
for Phase 2B.
So phase
Before this
3,
meeting, so you would get-
which is probably a lot more than 300,000, that's just to get us going.
That's just for design, yeah.
Okay, I think we should look at that, because we may be far enough along on the phase 1 and 2 that we can slow that down a little bit. I mean, a lot has to do with what happens with this chromium 6, I think.
Yeah, and I would say on that, Sun City, we're in 2B right now. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, we have all these other phases.
Yeah.
And we were given like a leak map, and some of those later phases. I mean, the 2B is part of the higher priority, right? We're getting that done. And if we look at some of the maybe new leaks and so forth, that in light of chromium, that we just keep reviewing that to make sure that if there are not additional leaks, then let's maybe push it out a little bit. If there are more leaks, we have to bite the bullet on that, right? So just a continual update on that project, because it's big
Money.
CIP money. Yeah.
Yes.
Gary, were any of these projects that are identified as pay-as-you-go previously identified with other funding sources? Or have these always been pay-as-you-go?
They've always been pay as you go. I mean, except for like if you want to qualify the Sun City one as that was identified as bond financing, but ultimately that's pay as you go because we have to pay it
switched.
back.
Okay.
But
Yeah. Okay, I just want to clarify that. Thanks.
yeah. Any other questions on any of these?
So why isn't Sun City? It's not.
I didn't.
It's not in bold because it's not a new project.
Right. It's been in the 5-year CIP.
Okay. So I see. But some of these projects we've already started.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that would be helpful for the future. Not only do we want to know the new projects, but we want to know which one of these has not been started yet, which is brand new. Because
Right,
we're getting confused a
which is-
lot on,
Yeah.
I mean, let's say the chromium 6 thing comes true and it's full force on fixing this, then the board is gonna want to look at some things that, not to cut permanently, but to just push out a little bit. And right now, looking at this, I couldn't tell you which ones we haven't started, because we really don't want to start something, pay, $300,000 for design, and then have to, we don't want to stop it. Yeah. So,
Yeah, some of the detailed sheets will tell you what phase they're in, planning, design, construction. Gets a little busy to put it all on one summary sheet, but yeah, we're happy
I
to
see that, yeah.
try to color code it better next time. Do you want any additional detail on any of these projects? No? Okay, I'll just scroll through to the next one, canal. So canal is mostly the bill funding, or the USBR loan. So we're continuing with our funding program there, where we're just taking the irrigation laterals that were identified as part of that 60 million, and this is just the next phase of completing those. So there are no new projects here. All of these have been in the 5-year CIP. Any questions on any of these?
They're expensive.
Yeah, well, this
not a
is
question.
this is the loan that we have that has
Yeah.
the pretty good interest rate.
Oh, I know.
So-
It just getting anything done is,
Yeah,
the numbers are just crazy.
yeah. So we've been successful at getting a couple of them finished this year, so that's good. Making progress. Okay to move on?
Yes.
Everybody? Okay. Scroll through these. And we have East replenishment. Let's see. We have the Traditions Golf Course connection that's been in the budget before. And then the new, we have Ladera Golf Course. That's a new project. So those are just East Valley Golf Course connections.
Yeah, I was just curious about that Ladera. Wasn't that property, I might be completely wrong here, wasn't that property, I thought it was irrigated with canal water already, but apparently it's not. It was well. Because the proposal is to convert them from well to canal water.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, David, do you want to?
So that was all well water, but it was part of the Oasis project.
Right,
Yes, the Oasis project delivers to the site. The property owner, the pace of their project went well in advance of the Oasis project, and they built their infrastructure in a manner that disallows them to receive the water via gravity. And so we've been in talks with them about that. They're not really keen on taking the water as a consequence. And so we've looked into getting a loan, or rather a grant funding, to see if there's an opportunity to see if we can cover it and encourage them to take canal water, is what this project is.
So there's nothing that requires them to use canal water.
No,
And they're gonna need help with their infrastructure to make it work.
that's
what
correct.
you're saying.
They'll need a pump. They built a reservoir uphill, and they'll need a pump to bring it to them. They're also interested in doing a dual, kind of similar to, I think it was Plantation.
So the wells must be near the reservoir?
I don't think so. I mean, they're relative. I think they're a few hundred feet away to the north.
Yeah, they're along that wash there. on the north side. One's on the north side, one's about in the middle.
I know, it just seems odd. Something got, but it's grant, there's grant money for this.
Yes, 50% of this.
50%, yeah.
Oh, so they'd be paying the other 50%?
We would
No, the proposal would be that we would.
pay it.
I don't know if we should be paying, I mean, there's lots of farmers who spent a lot of money, moving, putting reservoirs in and doing things where you guys told us to put them. Where you said, this is where the water's coming to.
Yeah.
If you want it, this,
But
and we had to
you build your
redo
reservoir.
everything.
You build
We
your
had to-
reservoir at the delivery point.
We had to redo everything to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I understand we want them to use but it just seems,
I mean, how does that happen?
The same conversations were had.
And they just said, we don't care, we don't want the
They did
the delivery.
They just were blowing and going.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that's just an odd
don't-
one.
yeah.
It's very odd.
yeah, I don't.
What kind of a grant would?
It's with TWR.
So, but so the grants for 600 and
300. Grants for 300.
That's correct.
And
so
we would pay
our
the
cost
other
would
three.
be 300.
Yes.
I'm not.
I know. I
I'm
saw
not-
it too, and I'm
not-
like,
not-
what the
not-
heck?
I mean, it's not. We haven't
It's an
done-
in lieu recharge project, effectively.
I know. I mean, would that grant money be able to be used for some other project? If we didn't spend it on this one, would it be available for something else?
We could look into that. This one was actually part of this grant funding. We worked out with them, was actually dollars that were going to go to another project, and I'm not sure which one. But this was an alternative because the other project didn't come through.
No, I get it. And you're probably getting good bang for the buck there, assuming they're going to stay on their wells.
Yes, and this was not, obviously this is not a promise. This was to them. This is a conversation internal about seeing a way we can ensure that they're taking the water.
Yeah, I get it. I know. It just seems so strange.
I don't.
The possibility of losing more canal water.
I know.
Yes, and and the possibility of losing more canal water.
We could approach them,
They're getting a
where we
DWR
get the
grant
grant dollars
because they didn't put their
and they
reservoir
cover the difference, but we've not had this conversation.
That doesn't seem right.
Because we may be losing some canal water too in the future. We don't know.
I mean, my point is, there's a backstory.
I don't. It doesn't seem right
It didn't come through the board.
when everybody else did
It came from somewhere else.
spent money.
So is this an active course? I mean,
Yeah.
It is, yes.
fully utilized?
Yep.
Well, we can take this information and go back and reconsider and have some additional discussions. Obviously, we're not moving forward with anything until it comes before the board.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Okay. All right. Stormwater. So 40 million. We have one new project, which is the Coachella Valley Stormwater Channel Thermal Drop Structure to Avenue 64 Improvement Project. All the others have been in the budget for prior years. So they should look familiar, but I'm happy to go over any of them if you have any questions.
Seems fine to me.
Okay.
We've been over all those.
Yeah.
So these are moving forward.
Yeah, we're hoping that they're moving forward. A lot of them have been like the two Whitewater River Stormwater Channel ones adjacent to Warp 10 and adjacent to the first tee. You know, those have been held up with permit issues. And then North Cathedral City's been held up with Kinder Morgan. But we are seeing some movement on all of those projects. So we're hoping that next year they will actually go into construction. But this is some of the carryover from this year to next year.
No, I need to walk around.
So that brings us to West. West Replenishment is the Palm Desert Groundwater Replenishment Facility. And we are getting close on getting those, the easements that we need related to the mitigation site. So that then we can start construction on the replenishment facility behind Warp 10. So again, we didn't anticipate that delay this year. So the money's being carried over to this year or this next year. And then we have sanitation. We really only have one new project, which is the Mid-Valley Force Main Assessment. All the other projects are pay-as-you-go, or they're a combination of pay-as-you-go, loan, and or developer fees. But I think most of these you've seen over the years. Yeah, they've been in design. Some of them are now into construction. They're usually multi-year construction projects. And then of course there's all the recycled water projects that go through their various stages, planning, design, construction. And those, just due to the fact of having to coordinate on getting the loans and the WIN grants, those tend to take a little longer.
What is the Mid-Valley Force Main Assessment? I'm trying to.
Mid-Valley Force Main Assessment. Armando? You want
I mean, you can't say that we're not on top of the sanitation, the amount of money we're spending every year.
Right. And this is,
So as you know, we live in kind of like a bowl within the Whitewater Channel, and so we have to pump a lot of our sewage from La Quinta and some parts of Indio, the western half, and so we pump those through lift stations that take all the sewage to Ward 4. Over the past 10 years, we have spent some funding into the pump stations. We have rehabbed all of these lift stations, but we have not put some effort on the force mains. There is two major trunk lines, or two major force mains that go from La Quinta through the city of La Quinta and some unincorporated areas of the county that reach Ward 4. These force mains are already at age, about 25 or more years.
Armando,
And
when
what
you,
this project would do,
sorry to interrupt, but when you say force mains, you're really just talking about pipelines.
it's just a pipeline. It's pressurized, so it's different than the gravity sewers. We're blessed that we have a lot of gravity sewers in the systems, but we rely on a pressurized piping to carry the sewage from La Quinta and some incorporated areas of the county and some eastern parts of Indio to move the flow to Ward 4 through these lift stations that use this pressurized pipe. The analysis will basically help us study the condition so that we can then go into some type of rehabilitation where it could be cured in place pipe, so a pipe within a pipe that is expensive to do per mile of or per foot done. And so this project will help us understand what is the condition of the Mid-Valley Force Main systems. There's two major trunk lines. I said upper and lower Mid-Valley Force Main system.
Are these steel or PVC or?
So predominantly they're plastic, PVC, but there is some crossings. We have used steel. There was a flavor within our past 25 years that steel was quite common and probably cheaper than PVC as PVC took off in its manufacturing. And so we have to do that type of assessment on both.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this may lead to something.
It may lead to something, but we'll come back to the
More
board.
expensive. Oh, way more. You heard them.
Right. Well, we'll come back once we have an assessment and once we have a program, and hopefully we lay out a 5-year program just like we have done with the lift stations.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions on any of these projects? No? Okay, I think, that wraps up.
It's a good presentation. I mean, there's definitely a lot of information here. Appreciate how it's laid out.
Great, thank you. So,
So
finance, okay,
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Right here. So go back one more
this one?
to the execution rate.
Oh,
So we started at 178,
right,
okay? But we revised it to 111.
right.
So, I mean, execution rate's really not 88%.
Well, yeah, if you want to look
Depends
at
how
it
you,
that way.
yeah, what's your starting point? Yeah,
Correct.
it could be a high number, it could be a lower number.
Okay.
But some of those are, that are related to things that were out of our control. So we,
I mean, what,
when we identified that, we took them out of the budget. So we amended the budget. So we're comparing what we did against, you know, the projects that were in our
Yeah.
control.
I mean, what's interesting is that, I think you brought it up before, Anthony, is you just look at what we've actually spent each year and it sort of hovers around $100 million.
Yeah. 120.
Maybe a little higher, yeah.
That's when we see but when we see the 190,
I know.
it gets us
I know.
it gets us like, what are we doing here?
I know, it seems incongruent. It doesn't match up with what we really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we start out a little high because we anticipate that, you know, some of these grant funded projects are going to come through and or these developer funded projects, you know, and then
Charlie Brown
we
with
run
football.
into issues
Keeps thinking he's
and
gonna kick it.
we have to make adjustments throughout the year.
Lucy pulls it
And
away.
basically we're estimating our budget. We did all this work in December and January because here we are in February doing the budget study session for July, you
Yeah,
know, and
really.
so we had to do it earlier, a month earlier than we normally do. So, you know, a lot of it is trying to project and just present to you what like the worst case scenario could be.
Yeah, I get it, and it makes a lot of sense to me. But what's hard for the five of us is that when we see the projections for rates for the next 5 years and where we need to be and where we need to go, and we, you know, it's like if you guys don't do this, then we're gonna have problems. And when these things don't happen, it's like we know
Well,
that
yeah,
we know that we're gonna have. I mean, it's like we know we're gonna have a 30% or 40% non-execution rate.
Possibly. I mean, the flip side of that is you have Chrome 6 looming out there, and that might push everything in the opposite direction,
And DCP and sites.
and all the other stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I know it's this.
The money we raise for these projects doesn't disappear. It stays within the system. It rolls from year to year as the projects roll from year to year. So while we may be suggesting a rate increase this year for this project, if the project doesn't get done, it moves to the next year with the funds that would have gone with it, and thereby doesn't require another rate increase in the following year. I mean, it's,
I know, but you have to go. You have to, for the public. You know, we don't want to have to explain myself why I have $50 million over reserves, over my target reserves. You know, and why did you raise my rate last year when you have this kind of money sitting in the bank over your targeted reserves? And so that's where we get into this kind of push and shove.
understood.
Yeah. Well,
Understood.
corroded pipe and Chrome 6, and I mean, there's answers to the question.
Yeah, I think that we need to also recognize that we have system capacity issues and, you know, maintenance concerns, and I'm keenly aware of the issue of rates, but you're proposing an execution rate of 75%.
Right.
which is at least 10% less than what we've been doing over the last 10 years. And so I'll be interested to see where we end up in terms of what that includes. But I'd like to point out that, you've done a yeoman's job, Carrie, in keeping that execution rate, in some cases, depending upon the fund, at 100%. So thank you for all that effort.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
That's not good.
It was, even when I got here, which it's been, 10 years ago, it was down in the,
40s,
40s,
30s.
yeah.
Yes.
The 40s.
Mark Johnson years.
Yeah. You did a great job, Carrie.
Thank you.
This was great.
Okay, so finance is going to just summarize the rates, the rate impacts or no rate impacts, basically. And then we're gonna have the motor pool presentation. So I'm all done, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Carrie.
you, Carrie. I didn't read the motor pool. Ran out of time.
So hopefully this will be a pretty quick slide. We try to organize the data just based on what we've been doing. So as Carrie talked about, we started the budget process early this year in mid-November, went through those reviews with departments and the general manager in late January. And so we've been able to put together some of the operating data, which you'll be seeing in more detail next month at that study session, but as well as the CIP. And so based on the new projections for 2026, these are the recommendations that we'll be bringing forward, barring any changes between now and next month at this point. But so for the replenishment funds, we still don't have a complete rate on that though, but that cost of service study is ongoing and we'll be working on those recommendations for the next meeting. Domestic rates at this point, we're proposing a 0% rate increase effective for July 1st. We will be performing a cost of service study for that. So really what we want to be able to do with that study is incorporate a lot of the pieces for CIP, for projects that are needed to be done with Chromium 6 and things as well that will kind of inform those rates that would be going forward. So that process may end up being a rate increase during that year or not. We're not entirely sure at this point, but at this point we're looking at a 0% for start of the fiscal year. For sanitation rates, the board's been very steady with the cost of service rates that were proposed for that study. So we've been doing 8.5% rates for the past 4 years. So we're proposing a 0% rate increase this year with also a cost of service study for the sanitation fund for 2027 as well that will inform those based on timing of CIP and some of the different assumptions that have happened over the last few years. Our reserves are still in really good shape for that fund. And then for Canal, our recommendation at the moment will be to continue those Prop 218 rates that were approved by the board last year. So the dollar differences are on the screen. So it's about a 4.3% increase for the Class 1 rate and about a 6.2% rate based on those cost of service rates that we're projecting at this point. That allows us, at least with our projections right now, to avoid using any one-time revenues and preserving those curtailment revenues. That's the quick overview. I know we'll go into a lot more detail on next month's study session on March 17th, but any questions?
I think we need to just look into the canal and see where
Yeah,
where
so
that's headed.
we'll have that when that comes
Yes.
up, right?
Yeah, we'll put together kind of the usual slices that we do
Right.
of what a 0% looks like, what the recommended rates would
Right.
look like, and maybe an in-between, just depending on what needs to be done with that.
Right, thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Motor pool?
Oh, motor pool, yeah, right. And Charlton.
Oh, you get the honors, huh? Yeah. Lucky you.
Since you're spending all the money.
I'm not Stu, just to be clear. But I do want to introduce the new Stu, is Rigo.
Ah,
It's on.
is that an internal?
Rigo Castro, he was our auto shop supervisor.
He was,
He's managed
yeah.
15 in the auto shop for 2.5 years now. He's been 23-year employee. He's the new Stu.
He has big shoes to fill, though.
No, the internal hire is a great
Yeah.
thing. Congratulations.
Yeah, happy for you.
So this should be very short and painless. It's not working.
Need to spend another 10 million.
So he'll be doing this next year.
He'll be doing this. I didn't want to put him right into the fire this year. Yeah. He just got the job last week. So, but short and sweet, if you recall last year, the 5-year capital improvement was going to go up between $4 and $5 million a year, and we're keeping it under 2.9 million. And there's a good reason for that, and that's that the California Air Resources Board did amendments and delayed the 100% zero emission fleet through January 1st, 2030. Just really quickly, this is a lot on this slide. I'm going to come back to this slide, but really the light blue is smaller vehicles that we're doing. The green is the EV that we're doing. But on the bottom right, I just want to show you that it's 3.1 million. We're expecting $200,000 of auction value. So for a net spend of 2.9, which has been the same for the last 8 years probably. As far as the advanced clean fleet rule, as I alluded to, it pertains to any vehicle over 8,500 pounds. We have 300 to 400 vehicles over 8,500 pounds in general. We have 1 tons, 2 tons, 3 tons, all the way up to dozers and heavy equipment. So basically, we're allowed to do 50% of our purchases until January 1st, 2030 are allowed to be anything but zero emission fleet electric, CNG, hydrogen, whatever it may be. So we're continuing to use gas vehicles. And one of our main strategies has been downsizing. So on the right, you'll see a 19,000 3-ton, 550 gross vehicle weight vehicle. And wherever possible, we're downsizing to these 6,800 half tons with aluminum beds so they stay extremely light, with the intent that we can still get 1,000 pounds or so of weight in the back and still be able to perform our duties. And we have 28 of those half tons coming in the next 3 months, and we downsized 28 vehicles last year and we saved about $2.8 million. This looks fancy. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but we still have to move forward with some EVs as we to be in compliance with South Coast. And that being said, we're proposing 7 of these vehicles. They're 20,000 more than the other half tons, and we're getting 2 to 1. So we're getting rid of these 553-ton vehicles. We're buying half tons, so we only need half as many EVs as we move forward. So we're getting a 2 to 1 ratio of continuing to buy gas vehicles.
I'm glad that's not a Lightning.
Yeah.
No, well, you
I
might
wanted
get
one
some,
of those Hummers
might get
that
some
they
good
wouldn't
deals
give
on
me.
Lightnings, but I don't know if you're factoring it into the budgets, but, and it's only a few vehicles, but maintenance costs on these EVs is lower.
It's if you look, it's 50 to 70% lower on fuel costs alone, and then there's no
Oil change.
compared to a gasoline engine. It's very
No
simplistic.
radiator, there's no nothing.
Yeah,
Fan
it's
belts.
much more simplistic long term.
And you don't have to have expensive underground.
And I was shocked at how many, underground fuel storage every 40 years. Come on. That's only 40,000 years. It's fine. But the range is incredible too. So we're proposing, as you'll see in a minute, we're proposing 7 of these. And buying 7 of those is going to allow us to attempt to get exemptions on diesel again. So when we bought our last diesels, big trucks in 2023, they said we would never get another one again. With the amendments to CARB and the rules, South Coast has agreed that they're going to start accepting TICRs, which are conditional permits. We can't have torque requirements 100 miles from here where EV doesn't work, CNG doesn't work. There's not enough fueling stations, just logistics, and that's how we got the last 7 880. So we're going to prepare to do that again for this. We have a 30-ton crane that's 30 years old, and we're going to replace that crane, knock on wood, with an 880.
That's
diesel
a nice
chassis
looking
with a
rig right
30-ton
there.
crane.
But
Yeah,
can
and we
you
use this all the
even buy
time.
one electric?
What's that?
Could you even
No.
buy
No,
one
you-
electric?
that's-
You can't.
They
You
don't
can't even buy one.
exist.
So even if you did have them out there, you can't. They don't make them.
Exactly. There's
Just make sure when you drive to the site, you're going uphill,
yeah.
so that when you come home, you're going downhill.
Like that.
Otherwise, you'll never get back.
The torque requirements aren't there. There's still a lot of things to do, and I think obviously CARB recognized that they got ahead of it. And for public fleets, state, local fleets, they're allowed. That's why they did the amendment. And I honestly believe in 2030 we're not going to be there either. and they're going to have to do additional amendments on it.
Yes.
I agree.
So, but we're going to take advantage of it and get a really nice 30-ton crane. We have 14 water trucks that work for us every day, and they're contractors, so they get paid by the hour, fuel, everything fully loaded. But at the same time, we need another water truck for stormwater that we can have 24/7 operation. So we're going to do an exemption request for this as well as we move forward. Probably within the next 2 weeks, we'll be submitting those. So moving back, last slide again, the light blue, and if you look in the middle, in the description, you'll see 550, 350 at the end. All of those larger vehicles are going away, and they're all going to be half tons with utility beds. So like 28 that we're getting in the next 2 months, we're proposing 15 additional more this year. Of the 350s and 550s, if they have 100 and some thousand miles on them, if you look at the third to the last column, you'll see the mileage. Some of them have 140,000 miles. That's going to auction. But the ones with 94, we're going to say, hey, is there a better need for that? And if there's a possibility where we can keep it for another 2 years, we'll do that. But in the end, 15 half-ton pickups with utility beds, service bodies, or just the pickups themselves. For the warehouse
That's
and
why we
electric
don't own
van,
it.
when we get down into the green, you'll see those 7 half-ton fancy EV trucks. Again, they're only 85,000, so they're only $18,000 more than the half tons with the serviced utility bodies on them as well. Moving along to the third table, I guess you could say, or subsection. We need a survey truck for engineering, our survey group, and then we need some very small cranes. They're 3,000 pound cranes for 2-ton trucks for sanitation collections, which is our gravity sewer maintenance team, as well as our mechanical shop that does our pumps, sets small pumps in place at most of our warps and our lift stations. The bottom table in the dark blue or medium blue, whatever you want to say, are those 2 TICRs we're hoping to get. And I don't want to shock anybody, but that's $1 million of the $3 million on those 2 vehicles. 20% of our whole CIB is trying to get that one 30-ton crane, which again, they'll be fighting over it daily, and there's a schedule that will go with it. So long story longer, it's $3 million. It's been $3 million for 8 years. We committed to the board that we'd stay in that range. I think we're doing great things, optimizing and downsizing the fleet whenever possible. And we're working very closely with South Coast, and they are pleased that we are ahead of other fleets of similar size, similar agencies in Southern California. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Dan, I have a question.
Sure.
Thank you. Good job. So do our local dealers participate in any of these purchases?
Yeah.
Not so much on the bigger.
Well,
items,
no,
but-
we go out and we solicit. We solicited last year. I can't think. Was it Jessup that submitted on it last year? I think it was. They submitted, but they were the third lowest bidder. The lowest bidder was Winners. That is in Carson.
Okay.
Some
So
of
they
the-
get a shot.
Believe it or not, some of the dealers, it's not.
They don't want it.
They don't care.
Yeah,
They make such low margins that there's
Yeah, they don't-
some
they
of
don't
these
get
other
the
ones. And
value.
we
But we were glad they bid it. And,
guys would beat up a lot over that.
They were competitive. There were several bidders, and they were in the top 3. But yeah,
Yeah,
they weren't
okay.
the lowest bidder.
Because they seem to be successful in other public agencies, so. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Thank you,
job.
Dan. Do we have anything else for today? Gosh, we made the time pretty well. Good. Well, with no further business, we are adjourned.